problematic for me. I don't want that in a partner. I don't want it in a friend. And you can have it in an acquaintance, right? You're probably not going to be in my inner circle if you don't have goals. Because I want to know what those goals are. Because then maybe that might attract me to that goal. And now maybe we could get together and work on that together. Now let's go start a business together. Let's start doing things. I want people who are like-minded. Now, doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, because I already touched on that. I want people who see the world differently around me too, because I want to learn. And I am not threatened by somebody who sees the world different than me, because I understand as an egomaniac, not everybody is going to see, even though I'm an egomaniac, doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with me all the time. My favorite compliment on the radio show is always, dude, I don't agree with you all the time. I don't. A lot of times, as a matter of fact, saying, I think you're nuts, but you are talented and you are interested. And you do make me think about things. And so at the end of the day, that's why I listen. I love that compliment. I love that. Do I want people to think I'm right on things too? Yes, I'm an egomaniac. But I like the fact, I always say this audience proves to me that what I read in headlines isn't really true in reality. That people, can't see. Plenty of people who disagree with everything I say this. And we are told that that's not a real thing. But like I always say, this audience proves that it is.
Don't blame the station. We expected you to cancel him by now.
Well, my horoscope said that I shouldn't assume responsibility for anybody but myself.
The Stansbury Show on Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show. We're on Rock 1069. We do have these Rodney Carrington tickets. We'll get these passed out by the end of the program. Take a deep breath in. I've been a little busy this morning. I apologize. They got me running all over this building trying to work on some stuff. Multitasking. I'm a little discombobulated. All right, not all of my opinions are good. Right? I will occasionally have some bad opinions. And when you start talking entertainment opinion, they can really be different, between people. And nobody's really right. You're talking about what you like versus what you don't. A good way for me to relate to you what it is I'm saying here is that I rewatched a movie last night that I saw in the theater that I did not like. And I came in here and I gave a review and I wasn't big into it, and people were like, dude, what are you talking about? This movie's amazing. Dude, they're talking Oscars here. They're talking all kind of stuff here. What the hell do you do? You're an idiot. And so I rewatched Joaquin Phoenix's Joker last night. And honestly, I meant to turn it on just to kind of because I know I don't care for it much, and I was like, maybe I'll pass out and I'll go to bed. But I ended up watching the entire movie. Here's the thing. It is better than my original review when I saw it in the theater. I was surprised. Her and I went, and I thought I was going to love it, and she was going to walk out there like, geez, what was that? Why am I going to see comic book movies? When we were walking through the parking lot, she was like, it was amazing. I was like, really? I didn't really like it. So I rewatched it last night. And I enjoyed it more last night than I remember liking it. I still don't think it's as great as everybody was telling me, and I think it's a little The Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects is an average movie with a great ending. And that kind of feels how The Joker was. The movie's 2.5 hours long, just over 2 hours, somewhere right around there. And it's the first hour of this movie is something happen, please! Right? And then, after that, it's all right, now we're getting into some stuff, and it gets a little better. And Joaquin Phoenix is so good at being an actor that he can make you enjoy a movie you're not necessarily all the way into. His performance was good. And I understand why people liked it. I'll still take Heath Ledger as far as the Joker role goes, but there. I bring that up because I saw here another list of movies. This apparently is the best movies from the 90s, comedy movies from the 90s. Now, we know how these lists work. A lot of them are designed to make you fight and argue, and what about this one? And we'll get all the comments if we say this is it versus that, and really they're working on the engagement. So we'll start here. We'll just go 15 down. There's Something About Mary, they say, is the 15th best comedy movie from the 90s. That movie's great. I haven't seen it in a long, long time, but that movie was hilarious. It would be considered to be wildly inappropriate today. Mary's brother, that whole character, that whole thing, Franks and Beans. Like, dude, let me just tell you, Gen Z ain't going for that. Like, that ain't happening, right? Like, ain't gonna happen. But that movie was really, really good. That movie I love. I'm not the biggest Ben Stiller fan.
Get the fuck
but
over.
I did think that movie was good. Wayne's World was number 14. I feel it should be a little
Got a
higher
whole
on
goddamn 2 lanes.
I'm not the biggest SNL fan, although that was an era of SNL I liked a lot more than some others. I felt like the first Wayne's World was good, and then we know if something's good, let's go back to the well and try to just get every last bit of water out of it. And they did that with that property. But the first one I do think is pretty good. I'm fine with that. 13 is Waterboy. Not my favorite Adam Sandler movie, but a good Adam Sandler movie, a funny movie. Number 12 was Friday. That one I liked. Toy Story came in at number 11. Now, The Addams Family is number 10. You're telling me The Addams Family was a better comedy than There's Something About Mary and The Waterboy? No, it wasn't. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And again, designed so you and I will fight about it. I loved this next movie. I loved this movie. I loved both of these movies. It has no business being number 9 on the list of best comedies from the 1990s. Grumpy Old Men. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau. That movie's great. Anne Margaret was in that too. Love that movie. I liked both those movies. 2's obviously not as good as the first one. The movie's hilarious. It's great. It has no business being in front of, like, Friday. I don't think it has any business being in front of, like, The Waterboy, Wayne's World, any of those. Like, that seems very high for number 9 best comedies of the 1990s. Number 8 was Mrs. Doubtfire. Ranker's where I found this, by the way, if you want to check out this. Mrs. Doubtfire. Again, Gen Z ain't going for that. Dude dressed up like an old lady. Oh my God. Are we mocking the trans community? Have you not seen the new flag? Submit to the new religion of this country, right? Like, that is exactly how that's going to go. That would not be considered to be comedic genius today. The people would be out there talking about the problematic nature of Robin Williams in all of his roles. Let's go one by one. Mark for Mark was really problematic and really thought he could control that female and living in that apartment with his 2 fingers, and that's a problem, and that's what the toxic masculinity is. I know, it sounds ridiculous, right? Go read some articles online. That's the way they all sound. Like, did you know? Well, what about? Did you know? What about? Right? All of that is so annoying. Mrs. Doubtfire is a movie I don't have a strong connection to. I'm sure I have seen it. I don't remember loving it or having it be a big part of my life like that. I don't get it. I always thought it was just a little silly, but okay, whatever you. Robin Williams is an entertaining guy. And I've loved plenty of his movies and his characters, so I have no problem believing that there were some funny moments in that movie. That was number 8. Number 7's Billy Madison. Again, I think Happy Gilmore is probably going to be my favorite Sandler movie, but Billy Madison was funny, absolutely was funny. I'll take that movie. A movie I hated comes in at number 6. I don't get Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I don't get it. By the way, as I just talked about it, there have been like 15 articles written about how inappropriate Ace Ventura is, some of the jokes in there, intolerant, awful, not kind enough. A lot of that has been written about that movie. I don't get that movie. I don't get Jim. I'll be honest with you. I don't get Jim Carrey much. I don't. Dumb and Dumber, fair. Okay, fair. Some of his dramatic role, like, I'll take The Truman Show over anything Jim Carrey's ever done comedy-wise. For sure. I'll take the number 23 over anything Jim Carrey has ever done comedy-wise. The Mask was one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. It is laugh out loud bad. That movie is so bad. Ace Ventura I didn't get, but that's number 6. Number 5 is Men in Black. Great idea. Big movie, big blockbuster movie. I'm not sure it would be in my top 5 comedies of the 90s. It is funny. There are funny moments in it. I don't even think I would classify it as a comedy, although I guess it's like a buddy cop comedy. Number 4 here, The Sandlot. was number 4 best comedy movies of the 1990s. There's some more Jim Carrey on this list, and there's some more Adam Sandler too. We'll run you down the rest of it next on Rock 106.9.
By now, you're asking yourself, is he trying to be wrong?
You incinerating that I'm dumb?
The Stansberry Show.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. We've been talking about these movies from the 90s. That ranker is telling me these are the best comedy movies from the 90s. We ran through a bunch of them already. If you missed any of that conversation, you can pick it up in the podcast. But, you know, people will come in the halfway of the conversation. What about this one? What about that one? So, like, some of your movies may have been mentioned here. Friday was on the list at 12. The Addams Family at 10, which felt egregious to me. Mrs. Doubtfire at 8. And again, I don't really have a big love of that movie. Billy Madison was number 7. I had kind of liked Happy Gilmore more. A lot of people think that's about the golf, and it probably is. But it's also about the fact that when he goes and visits his grandmother, am I mixing? I think it was Happy Gilmore. She's wearing the Gene Simmons mask, right? So like it might have been the Kiss reference. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective was number 6. I kind of talked about how I'm not a big Jim Carrey guy. I'm just not. Fire Marshal Bill was all right. Like, that was all right. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, I wasn't a big fan of. The Mask, I thought was terrible. Although I'm not a big Cameron Diaz guy either. Like, I'm not a guy who thinks Cameron Diaz is super hot either. So, you know, now she was in Something About Mary, and that was on this list too. And I actually think that movie's better than any of the ones that have been mentioned thus far. Men in Black was number 5. Number 4 is The Sandlot. You're killing me, Smalls, is a line I remember. I remember the kid being like cold and like shaking while looking at the lifeguard jumping in the pool, right? I remember that. You're killing me, Smalls, like that. And I the rest of that movie, I'm not sure I remember perfectly. That's a movie I should probably rewatch. But did I love The Sandlot back in the day? Yes. I absolutely love that movie. So your top 3 movies from the 90s. These are comedies. Dumb and Dumber's number 3. And I would think that this is probably my favorite Jim Carrey comedy. I have not seen them all. Like, I have not seen Liar Liar. I have not seen all his comedies. I'm not a big fan. As a matter of fact, Jim Carrey is like one of those guys that I think is funny, but he wears me out. Like, if I had a friend like Jim Carrey, I'd be like, oh, dude, 20 minutes with that guy, and then I just want to punch him in the goddamn mouth. Because if you have to have your power button pressed all day, and you're on 11 all day, what the kids will call extra, if you're extra, I can't handle it. Like, I can't handle it. It just kind of bothers me. Dumb and Dumber, I think, is by far my favorite of his comedies. I like The Truman Show. I'll take the number 23. I like those Jim Carrey movies much more than his comedies, but Dumb and Dumber was a great movie. I don't know about the follow-up there. I don't really remember any of that. I know I've seen it, but the first, I think, holds up pretty well, so I'll understand that. Happy Gilmore actually comes in at number 2 here. Adam Sandler dominated this list, and it's no surprise. The man's one of the richest people in Hollywood, and it's because he knows audiences. He knows how to give an audience what they want. Happy Gilmore, I think, is probably his best of those movies. Billy Madison, if that's your favorite, I can understand it. I don't think there's a big argument in that. But I just prefer Happy Gilmore. And it is a little bit about the golf, for sure. I've loved golf my entire life. And again, 1996, Tiger Woods is literally blowing up on the scene. And so it was the perfect time to bring a movie like that out. For sure it was. Timing was right. The price is wrong, bitch! Like, that was perfect. Like, there was just a lot of stuff in that movie that really worked and connected. And so I like that one. I think, as a matter of fact, I would take The Wedding Singer, I think, above Billy Madison. I really liked The Wedding Singer movie. I thought that movie was really good. But I like Billy Madison. The number 1 comedy from the 1990s. But, by the way, a lot of these are SNL properties, which just goes to show you, dude, how powerful that show Once Upon a Time was. They do not create brand the way they once did. They just don't. But Tommy Boy is the number 1 comedy from the 90s. It would not be number 1 on my list. It's a funny movie. But why it wouldn't be number 1 on my list is, much like Jim Carrey, this will be wildly unpopular. I don't really get Chris Farley. I've said this about Bert Kreischer, dude. If your entire gimmick is about the fact that you're fat, or you're going to fall down, I'm kind of over it. John Candy was a fat man, and they made jokes about him being fat. It wasn't the only trick in his bag. Now, Sandler, all those guys will tell you, Chris Farley was the funniest dude by 10 miles. None of us were close. I'm curious if some of that isn't the fact that Chris died early, but I will trust Adam at his word there. And I could see Chris Farley, like, going to the bar with Chris Farley, I think he'd have you in stitches. And I think your body would hurt from laughing. I really do. Some of the characters, Beverly Hills Ninja, and like Almost Famous, dude, Almost Heroes and all that stuff. I mean, dude, some of those were just downright awful bad. He's a little Jim Carrey, dude, tone it down. I don't need you on 11. I need you, dude, you're up here. I need you down here, buddy. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. I actually think, for my money, I'm a Spade guy more than I'm a Farley guy. So a lot of what I liked about Tommy Boy is how annoyed Spade's character was with the Farley character. Because if you put me on the road in the car trying to sell brake pads with that big fat dummy, that's exactly how I'm going to feel. I would be beside myself, pissed off at that disheveled idiot all day. It would make me absolutely crazy to be stuck in a car with somebody like that. And so there is where I'll find the comedy in that. I like the Spade role a little bit more. I know most people don't. In that movie, Spade's going to be an afterthought. Chris Farley is the much bigger star. He sucks up the screen. Like, he just does. And I understand that. This is one of those times where I have an opinion, and it's probably wrong for most people there. I don't think that would be my best comedy movie. As a matter of fact, I'll take Office Space as being better than Tommy Boy. Let me see here if I can find some others. My Cousin Vinny, I think that was technically in the 90s, was it? Dazed and Confused, I would watch before watching Tommy Boy again. I don't know if I'll go. Half Baked, I think I would watch before Tommy Boy. Again, things, it's literally designed so people will fight about it. Although I bet most of you would have Tommy Boy, if not your number one movie, would probably at least be in your top 5 comedy movies from the 1990s. Good movie, but I'll take the David Spade character over Farley any day of the week. Aside from that, I am done for the day. Stick around, catch Teresa as she has your next opportunity.
Can I get sausage, egg, and cheese bagel?
I'll catch you guys
combo
again tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Be good to one another. Do, in fact, meet me here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Friday's program. What station am I on right now? Rock 106.9. That's the one. Meet me here for Friday's program tomorrow. Hopefully you have a decent afternoon. And hopefully
an orange juice.
Around town.
That'll be it.
You know poop is coming, but you know you have nothing to fear. New Pampers Swindlers with blowout barrier helps prevent up to 100% of leaks, even blowouts. Fear no leaks with Pampers Toddlers. And download the Pampers Club app today and earn Pampers Cash. Redeem your Pampers Cash for exclusive Pampers coupon savings and rewards. Click or tap the link now to learn more. Only redeemable via Pampers Club. Redeem Pampers Cash, no cash value.
Warning. The show you're about to hear has been prepared by some of the best talent in the industry we can get. For the money. Do not attempt this at home. Doing so would only expose just how useless and brainless these...
All right, here we go. Now we're ready to welcome you in to Wednesday morning on the Stansbury Show. I had some trouble tickets filled out, and I will normally complain about the state of my equipment in here. But I cannot do that this morning, as a lot of time and effort was spent in here yesterday fixing a couple of things that needed to be repaired, and they have done that. And so now I am made to have been happy. I just needed to press one more button to be able to enact the microphone so you'd be able to hear it properly. So here we are, and welcome to Wednesday's program on Rock 106.9. 9 a.m. this morning, we will rock the bank with you. I will pass out the very first of the $1,000 keywords. We do them 13 times a day, and I'll pass out the first one to you at 9 a.m. Yesterday, if you missed that show, that is New Turd Tuesday. We found out that Dead Cassette has another hit on their hands with His Love Was Lost, the name of this one. We voted not a code here. It was the best out of the 4 songs we premiered in the segment yesterday. These guys are pretty good, Dead Cassette. Let's get a little listen to this. Yeah, they're done, but he can still hear her voice walking around here. So we gave you a new Dead Cassette. We also gave you new Jesse James Dupree, new Garth Brooks with Ronnie Dunn, where I screwed that up. I had screwed up Brooks and Dunn and Big and Rich. It was Big and Rich who had Save a Horse, not Brooks and Dunn. Brooks and Dunn had some big hits back in the day. Rodeo Man with Garth Brooks and Ronnie Dunn was not good. We also gave you new Sheryl Crow, Alarm Clock. I like the verses. I did not like the chorus, but I did enjoy the song, and it was kind of stuck in my head a little bit yesterday afternoon. And that's normally the sign of a song being okay. She's 61. It shouldn't necessarily sound like that. I kept saying yesterday while listening to this, it sounds very youthful. Alarm Clock there, new from Sheryl Crow. I voted like a half a turn on that one. I felt like Dead Cassette were the clear winners of the segment yesterday. And again, their new one, If Love Was Lost. Today at 9 o'clock, we'll take a look at what's happening at Disney. You are a way better parent than you think you are. I know a lot of parents sometimes get down on themselves like, oh my God, I don't know if I have my arms around this at all. I don't know if I'm raising decent children. I don't know who left this up to me. What the hell am I doing? But when you hear about what's happening in line for rides at Disney over what some parents think they should be able to let their kids do on a ride, you are going to feel like a much better parent. We will get there coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. And again, we'll rock the bank with you and pass out that $1,000 keyboard as well. Also at 8 o'clock, we'll take a look through 7 of the rudest phrases to be guilty of one, if not all of these, as somebody who talks for a living. There is one of them I am way too guilty of. As a matter of fact, when I was listening to the best of this morning from 5 to 6, while in here getting some finishing touches on this morning's program, I could hear it running, and I heard myself use it more than a handful of times. It's, in the industry, we would call that but apparently some of these are some of the rudest phrases you can use, and I think I'm guilty of every last one of them. So we'll talk about rude phrases. We'll do that in the 8 o'clock hour. Now, we'll spend a lot of the 7 o'clock hour talking about the fact that issue 2 did pass here in the state of Ohio. 56% of the vote, from what I understand. I actually have the Starr County number. I'm waiting for my phone to get charged back up. If I have a screenshot on that, I am just kind of naturally a pessimist. And so, like, a lot of times when I see things I would like or would want, I think to myself, nah, that's not gonna happen. Right? That will never happen. I'm a proponent of legalization. I've been honest about legalization. There are some downsides coming. And it's not, by the way, just going to be a free-for-all for everybody who wants to smoke marijuana. But there will also be some negatives for people who did not want to see this get passed. We will spend the 7 o'clock hour talking about this. What exactly does it mean? When will you be able to buy legal marijuana in the state of Ohio? Which, I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of looking forward to. I just like the idea of being able to stop on my way home, and I'm good, and I can just get into the house and spend all weekend never leaving the house again, as I am known to do. Right? I'm kind of looking forward to that. I also kind of believe in this country, you need a reason for something to be illegal. I don't need a reason to want something. My freedom is my reason on why I want something. You need a reason to deny me something. And I don't think we have a decent reason to deny people marijuana. Not if we're going to advertise alcohol the way we do. Not if it's going to be in literally in every show. We spent the last 10 years making sure we could drink at college football games, for crying out loud. So I don't know why one substance is like, hell yeah, man, crack it open. It's almost like we have that feeling because it's been legal our entire lives and marijuana hasn't. And the marijuana people are the bad ones. The alcohol people are the good ones, even though you flip cars, beat your wife on it. But the marijuana people, those are the bad ones, right? Like, it kind of seems kind of crazy there. So we'll spend a little bit of the 7 o'clock hour talking about that this morning. Also, I do have a set of these Rodney Carrington tickets. The comedian will be at the Canton Palace Theater. That's on January 26th, and I'll get you hooked up this morning on the show.
Here's what's next on the Stansbury Show.
All right, well, we talk the economy, we talk money, we talk jobs a lot. And everybody's trying to tell you how you can't make a decent living in this country. So I found an article written where a bunch of people have submitted what they do, how much they make, and none of them have a college degree in what it is they do. Little optimism here on your opportunity to make some money. Next on The Stansberry Show.
And you know what that conniving trickery is called?
The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9. I keep hitting the wrong button in here. Here's why. I had to use the second microphone in the studio for like the last 3 months. It's actually more like a month and a half. And they had fixed that yesterday, so now I'm able to use the first mic position the way I should be using. Right? And 1, 2, 3 there, and I have just been so used to hitting 2 there that I keep screwing that up. This machine doesn't seem like it wants to record. It was working fine yesterday. How hard it is to make a living in this country. And having just went to the grocery store the other night, I think it was 6 things and it was $120. It's like, well, people are a little bit right? It's killing you. It's why we pass out money. It's why we rock the bank with you at 9 o'clock and give you $1,000 keyboards. Because times are tight, right? And a lot of people will talk about how hard it is to find jobs that pay well. And everybody's got an opinion on why, where they went, or who's better off for this, or who's going to be, more at fault for what's happening. But I ran across like a Reddit thread about good paying jobs that people have that don't need a college degree. They set the limit here, or the baseline, sorry, not the limit, but the baseline at over $50,000 a year. I'm going to guess that would be hard for a family of 4 to live on, right? But most people in this country are no longer trying, I think, to live on a single income, right? We kind of gave that up probably 35, 40 years ago for the sake of advancement. They kind of hoodwinked us into, nah, dude, get both people working, and that's equity, and that's this, and that's that, you know what I mean? And it just created more workers for them, essentially, right? But, we kind of lost that. I don't know that many people who have a single income house. And as a matter of fact, the people I do know, when they told me, I was looking at them like, what? Like, how in the hell are you doing that? Name it, this guy says. 21 years old, I started doing corporate audio visual in hotels. I learned operator status. I now make $75,000 to $80,000 a year running lasers at one of the hottest clubs in New York. It also helps to be friendly and build a good network of people. Very small. Like, it's just kind of how it works. I learned that one the hard way. A couple of early times in my career. This guy's not wrong here, that it is beneficial to you to build relationships. People say phrases like this all the time. Life's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And then tell you they don't give a damn what anybody thinks about them. It's like, you can't think both those things are true at the same time. It pays you enough money and you get the family time. It's kind of what we're all looking for there, right? Again, I don't think most people listening to me don't want to work. I mean, yes, you'd like to win the lottery, this and that. But I don't think people are as resistant to work as maybe it gets. I'm going to guess that's a pretty good laser running guy. Bro, you're screwed. Like, absolutely, that's an important job. You know what I mean? I want aircraft maintenance people to be good at what they do, and I want you to be highly compensated. Bartenders on this list. These are good jobs where you don't necessarily need a college degree, and you're still going to make a lot of money. This woman says here, I'm a server bartender. I make roughly $60,000 with 50-hour weeks. Yeah, that's not that many hours in a week. I mean, 50 is almost standard anymore. And you can make a lot of money serving, depending on your serving job. You absolutely can. I got lucky. Peabody's and the Agora paid great. Not necessarily in the checks. The checks were the checks, but the tips were fantastic. A little better at Peabody's. There's something about the Agora where people kind of see it as a venue, like the Q, not the Q. Jesus, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, or things like that, and people just tip less in situations like that. Peabody's felt like a bar, and so you absolutely tipped like you were at a bar, and that job was great. I've had plenty of other serving jobs, and I made decent money. As a matter of fact, one of the women I worked with at both those places, this is what she does. And I'm going to guess she makes more than 60. I mean, I know her. I don't feel comfortable giving out all her financial details to you. Now, in a concert venue, it's a little different. You sold tickets. You're not just opening the door and hoping people come in, right? You have sold tickets to something. But absolutely, servers can make that kind of money. Before you rush out and quit your job and go do it, though, I mean, the robot bartender is coming. I mean, Vegas is already rolling them out. Burger King the other day said, get ready, more kiosks are coming to our stores. It cuts down on awkward interactions with staff and customers. Nobody seems to like doing it, so we're going to give you the kiosk and let our workers deal with preparing your food for you, actually, which is a nice way of saying, we don't need these people anymore, so we're going to throw them out the back door, right? And I think a lot of that is going to come to bartending. Now, how soon will your bar/restaurant be able to afford that thing? Owner is going to be a lot like somebody buying a car or a house. They're going to take a loan out on it. When I worked for an automotive mechanic, that guy didn't pay cash for all that stuff he bought from Snap-on and all those other tool companies. He took out loans. They would finance you for things like that. And my guess is that's what's going to happen in a lot of the bar/restaurant industry. I'm interested to see if that cuts down on people going. The amount of, now this isn't necessarily as true for restaurants as it is bars. Right? They're going to look like a human. They'll talk like a human. And will you even be able to tell? That might be a fun little game. That might be the new TikTok trend. Oh my God, let's go bar hopping and let's see if we can find a human bartender.
He's a man of many talents, but he does not have the talent for keeping quiet.
The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Give me an hour and I'll get you into Rodney Carrington, the comedian at the Campton Palace Theater. That's on January 26th, and I have a set of tickets. We'll get you in an hour from now. Had been talking about good jobs you can get without a college degree that make over $50,000 a year. Now, again, you know, will 50 stretch as far as it used to in the next couple of years? I mean, welcome to